Good evening. As you can tell, there seems to be some interference given the President's Air Force One plane with the technology here, so please forgive us here in the heart of Silicon Valley with technology being the hub, but we know that we'll be able to get to that very shortly. It is such an honor to see so many beautiful faces here in Silicon Valley and abroad to help us celebrate our elected District Attorney, Jeff Rosen, in the Office of District Attorney for the County of Santa Clara. For those of you who I do not yet have the pleasure to know, my name is Evan Lowe, and I serve in the California State Legislature, and I'll tell you why I perhaps might be here to MC along with my dear friend. But before we get into some of that, some of the acknowledgement of our dignitaries in the room, and there are many, so if you could kindly hold your applause, and if you hear a name, just kindly stand to be recognized. So again, hold your applause, and we'll just go through this illustrious list of names. First off, we have from the County of Contra Costa, the District Attorney, Diana Becton. Please stand and be recognized. San Francisco District Attorney, Brooke Jenkins. San Mateo District Attorney, Steve Wagstaff. From the City of Campbell, Chief Gary Berg. Go Campbell. I'm biased. CHP Captain Christian Oliver. City of Gilroy Police Chief Espinoza. City of Los Altos Chief Avaret. Los Gatos Montesano Chief Jamie Field. City of Milpitas Chief Hernandez. City of Morgan Hill Police Chief Paulsgrove. City of Palo Alto Police Chief Andrew Binder. City of San Jose Police Chief Anthony Mata. San Jose University Chief Michael Carroll. Go Spartans. Santa Clara Chief of Police Pat Nicolai. There is a new sheriff in town, and that is our very own newly elected and minted Sheriff Bob Johnson. Thank you for those who remember the instructions. Sunnyvale Department of Public Safety Chief Vaughn No, Deputy Chief Probation Officer Nick Burchard, Independent Defender's Office Sylvia Perez McDonald, and from our bench, Presiding Judge Beth McGowan, Judge Delgado, Judge Garcia-Sen, Judge Gogo, Judge Irvani Sani, Judge Markunian, Judge Ramos, Judge Towery, from the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, Supervisors Cindy Chavez, Supervisor Joe Samidian, County Executive Jeff Smith, Chief Operating Officer Greta Hansen, Los Altos Mayor Sally Meadows, former Mayor of Milpitas Richard Tran, City of Saratoga Mayor Fitzsimmons, Los Altos Council Member Fligor, Los Gatos Town Council Member Rennie, San Jose Planning Commissioner Pierluigi Oliverio, Santa Clara Council Member Kathy Watanabe, Sunnyvale Council Member Russ Melton, Foothill De Anza Trustee Patrick Aarons, and last but not least, the Director of the Jewish Community Relations Council of Silicon Valley, Jessica Blitchcock. And if there's anyone else that I did not have a chance to name or recognize, please also stand to be recognized. A round of applause for our elected officials. And the elected officials, you're lucky you didn't get this assignment, but now we'll move on to the national anthem for our very own Deputy District Attorney. So if I'll ask Emily, Dan, Teresa, and Jordan to kindly join us up here to join in the national anthem. So would you please all stand for the national anthem, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance.
the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And if we can ask you to kindly stay standing. Next up, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, we have Anna Fonnelly, our 2022 Justice for All poster contest winner, who will now lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to introduce for the benediction, Rabbi David Booth. Please kindly join us. Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You can be seated, actually. It is a shared feature across our traditions that our encounter with the divine creates in us a sense of responsibility to create systems of justice, to administer them fairly so that we're able to be safe and secure in our homes and about our business. It is also a shared feature that chesed, a quality of love and compassion, must infuse the way that justice is administered, or else it all too easily becomes corrupted and evil. And so, Jeff, I want to offer a blessing as you begin this new term, that you should be blessed, first of all, to continue to have the insight and wisdom to bring justice throughout this county and the other places that you've had as your influence has spread beyond our county to the state as a whole. You should be guided with God's wisdom and insight to bring justice and fairness and equity and security into this county. You should also continue to be blessed and strengthened in your sense of chesed, in your sense of love. I've always been moved, Jeff, by the seriousness and compassion that you bring to your service, so that chesed comes with every person that you encounter in any aspect of your work. And last, Jeff, may you continue to be blessed with the incredible strength and endurance and integrity that amazes all of us who are your friends and supporters, so that you can continue to fulfill this essential work with the dignity, with the love and the faith that you've brought to it every day of your service to this point. And let's all join together in saying, Amen.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. And before we get into additional introductions, just a little bit about my relationship with our district attorney. I've now serving in the legislature for approximately 9 years now. And every year, as we develop our legislative package and we begin the new year, we figure out what type of bills to introduce. And our office gets so ecstatic and excited anytime our district attorney calls our office, of course, with his incredibly hardworking staff. And since I've had an opportunity to work with our district attorney over the past 8 or so years, he's been able to introduce and pass a number of pieces of legislation that are not just impacting our county here in Santa Clara County, but in the state and in the nation. Just some of those things that are relevant here that I want to share with you. The introduction of Assembly Bill 1210, which is related to package theft, which enables the prosecution of porch pirates. We've all seen it, and we've all been victims of a neighbor or a friend of ourselves of package theft. And our district attorney has come up to the state capitol to help ensure that we address this issue and provide law enforcement with the tools to keeping our community safe. Or Assembly Bill 2781, which would require the submission of ballistic images from firearms and cartridges and casings into the National Integrated Ballistics Imaging Network to help ensure that agencies can help solve gun crimes. If that's not enough, how about Assembly Bill 2888, which was signed by the governor, which of course closed the loophole in the previous law that allows judges to impulsively sentence perpetrators of sexual assault to little or no jail time. This is, of course, known as the Stanford rape case, which received national headlines. If that wasn't enough, how about Assembly Bill 1968, which restricted firearms possessions for individuals at risk of harming themselves or others? Assembly Bill 2740, which was with respect to marijuana DUIs, which would help to address the problems that have increased specifically given the legalization of marijuana in the state of California by helping to identify and deterring persons from driving while under the influence of marijuana by creating a per se limit. And finally, Assembly Bill 1171 with respect to spousal rape, which would have required the same standards for spousal rape that are currently in the penal code for rape, irrespective of sexual identity and orientation. Those are just some of the bills that go beyond the specific workload and duties of our district attorney. Of course, when you think about our district attorney and the roles and responsibilities, it's specifically to the people of Santa Clara County. But he has taken it upon himself to go beyond the county of Santa Clara, and yes, the 58 counties in the state of California, the fourth largest economy in the world, by the way, and demonstrating that this comes from a deep sense of commitment and pride, and that he believes that the hardworking men and women in uniform, keeping our community safe, do so with distinction and pride. And if that is not enough, he was a regular voice of calm, reason, and compassion during the rise of Asian hate in our county, the rise of hate in general for many communities, and helping to ensure that we stop the increasing hate in our communities. But we speak clearly with a drive of purpose and compassion as well. Similarly, passing legislation to also stop the increasing hate and attacks towards public officials. There are a number of public officials in this room, and especially during the rise of COVID and the challenges of conducting public meetings in a safe manner and keeping everyone safe, the rise of hate and attacks towards public officials will not be tolerated in this county or in this state. And our district attorney led on these efforts, and that deserves a round of applause. Now we begin 2023, and his office has already proposed 7 bills to our office for consideration and for legislative review, and we're excited to see what comes about from that. But by a point of the most memorable experience I have with our district attorney is more of a lighthearted mood. If I can share with you, and I might get in trouble, but you asked me to MC. It was a few years ago, and it was maybe during Pride Month in the month of June, and I was a very jovial spirit. I was in the state capitol. And I had just returned to the state capitol in our legislative office, and I get a call from our district attorney, and he says, "Evan, I'd like to talk to you about a bill and provide perspective. Can I please talk to you about State Senator Scott Wiener's enhancement bill?" So, of course, in the jovial spirit, I replied to our district attorney, said, "Jeff, you're calling me to talk about Wiener enhancements?" And of course, in the very Jeff serious tone, says, "Yes, it's a Senate Bill 1495. Are you familiar with the bill?" Without a beat, and I start chuckling away. And of course, he then replies, "Oh, I see what you did there. Yes, okay, that's great. So can we talk about the bill now? I share that as a lighthearted moment because, let's face it, dear friends, the work that we do each and every day exposes us many a times to the most difficult, challenging human elements. But what is equally important is that we deal with compassion and a sense of gratitude and levity at the same time, serving with distinction and public service. And so that is my dear friend, District Attorney Jeff Rosen. And while this may be the last time he invites me to a public event to speak with him, I want to then segue, as we talked about hardworking and distinction, to our next speaker. You may know her as San Jose's Congresswoman, but she easily goes from meeting with President Biden to now being with us here in these chambers. But in fact, she is one of a few individuals who served on a special select committee and protecting the people of the free world and protecting the integrity of our democracy, doing so with great distinction and pride. She could be anywhere in the nation, but she chose to be with us here and to honor our district attorney. So would you all please stand to thank and welcome Silicon Valley's Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren.
Oh, thanks very much. No. Thank you. Thank you very much. Very kind. Well, thank you so much. It's really an honor to be here with all of you who admire the district attorney as I do, but also to celebrate really the rule of law. And I think Jeff asked me to be here because I've come off this assignment that really focused on defending the Constitution, defending the rule of law, and I learned quite a bit in that process. We all think because we're Americans and we enjoy this wonderful democracy, somehow it will just always be that way. And I think what we all understand is that to protect our liberty, to protect our Constitution, to protect our rule of law, takes the active engagement of all of us, of every citizen, to care about it, to defend it, and to elevate and celebrate the rule of law. Now, we also learned something else. Having a law and having a Constitution itself isn't enough. It's the individuals who are charged with upholding the law count a great deal. When I think about some of the people I met in the process of this investigation, the Republican Assembly Speaker in Arizona, probably more conservative than I am. As I listened to him speak, I thought, we probably don't agree on a single issue, except he's committed to upholding the rule of law and the Constitution, and I admire that guy for it. He wasn't alone. Secretaries of State and others who refused to bend the law, who refused to violate their oaths. And I think also about a young woman, Cassie Hutchinson, who, under 25 years old, stepped forward to tell the truth of what she saw. Now, in our founding documents, we say to form a more perfect union. None of us are perfect. And when she first came to us, her testimony later was that she was advised not to tell the truth to the committee. And she did hedge some of her testimony. Later, she came back, fired that attorney, and said, I have to go back because I asked for advice on what to do, and I was told it's the look in the mirror test. If you can't look in the mirror your whole life and be proud of what you did, then you're doing something wrong. And so she followed the look in the mirror test, and she did what was right, and she upheld the rule of law. Now, when it comes to criminal justice, it's really the same thing. We need to have people, the laws are fine, but if we don't have individuals who will uphold their oath, that will uphold the rule of law, then we don't have a system that will work. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean you can't have sensible strategies for dealing with crime. You can have a drug court or a veterans court that will yield a safer community. That's still upholding the rule of law. But what you can't have is people who are above the law. As Jeff has said, you have to prosecute without fear or favor. You can be merciful, but you can't be corrupt. And that really comes down to someone who will uphold their oath. Someone who you know will always pass the mirror test, look in the mirror and know that their honor will call them to the truth, will call them to uphold their oath to the Constitution. And I'm proud to say that Jeff Rosen is someone we can trust in that regard. He is someone, when he takes his oath in just a few minutes, I know that he will uphold our Constitution. He will serve our citizens with great distinction. He will apply the law fairly without regard to power or privilege. And he's someone I am proud to introduce to you now. Please welcome Jeff Rosen.
It's very kind, very kind.
Judge Brown, if we can kindly ask you to administer the oath of office.
I am honored to do so. As I look out and I see the justice partners, I think that there may be a myriad of political opinions out here. But what binds us all is our commitment to public service. And that is why I'm so honored to administer the oath. The oath reminds us that we have a responsibility. It reminds us that we not only have the authority that we wield, but there is a responsibility to steward that which we have been given. And you have been an excellent steward over the years. And it is my honor to administer the oath to you at this time. If you'll raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Jeff Rosen,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming tonight to this swearing in. Thank you so much, Congresswoman Lofgren, for introducing me, and thank you so much for your service to our community and to our country over the last decades, and particularly your work on the January 6th committee. So it's really my honor to have you here with us. Thank you. Assemblymember Evan Lowe, my partner in crime, so to speak. Thank you so much for emceeing this. The folks that sang the national anthem are deputy district attorneys. They're in a group that we have in the DA's office called the Guilty Pleasures. And so that's Emily Lassard, Dan Federau, Teresa Sudo, and Jordan Collar. The young woman who led us in the Pledge of Allegiance, Anna Fandley, she won our high school art contest that was around the dangers of fentanyl. And so what you saw while we were saying the Pledge of Allegiance was the poster that she created. So happy to have my my rabbi and good friend, David Booth, offer some words of benediction, and to have Judge Shalana Brown with me is a very, very special treat. Thank you so much, Judge. I have here a friend, advisor, and consigliere, Leo Briones, who came up here. I appreciate having him. I want to thank my assistant, Dora McCaslin, and America Roberts, and Sean Webby, and Cynthia Samita for planning and coordinating tonight's event. And I know I have here my best friend and the best chief assistant, Jay Boyarsky. My mom, Harleen, is here. She has loved, taught, and supported me every day of my life. And my brother Jason flew up with her from Los Angeles today, and I really appreciate having them here with me. And my wife, Judge Amber Rosen, the love of my life, the heart of our family, and the light in our home. So thank you, and just a round of applause for all of you. Looking out my fifth floor office window, I can see several buildings, including the San Jose Police Department, the back of the Superior Court, the main jail, and the sheriff's office. I see couples in their best clothes holding hands and walking in to get married downstairs. They're very happy. I see people on their way to Superior Court for jury duty. They're not as happy. I see residents trudging in to pay their property taxes. Not happy. I see prosecutors and investigators marching into this office ready to fight for justice. I see crime victims walking to this office toward us seeking help. And it got me thinking, what is this office? What is the district attorney's office? Is the DA's office a place where crime victims are seen and heard, witnesses interviewed, and criminal cases investigated and prosecuted? The answer is yes. Is the DA's office comprised of hardworking women and men from every ethnicity, religious background, and sexual orientation who are committed to serving our community and making it better? Yes. Is the DA's office an organization that reviews and files more than 30,000 criminal cases each year, holding offenders accountable, protecting our residents, while helping tens of thousands of crime victims heal and recover? Yes. Is the DA's office a building more than 60 years old where the heat works, except in the winter, the air conditioning works, except in the summer, and the elevators work almost never? Yes. Yes. I believe that the DA's office is all these things and more. I believe that the DA's office is really a house of justice, and our task is building a house where justice lives, works, and shines. How do we build a house of justice? The foundation is integrity. A house first begins when the foundation is poured and then hardens. The bedrock of our house of justice is integrity, high ethical standards based upon solid moral principles. When deciding whether to file charges, we ask 4 questions. Was there a crime? Do we know who did it? Can we prove this to a jury unanimously and beyond a reasonable doubt? Is charging the right thing to do? Only if the answer is yes to all 4 questions do we file charges. We apply this 4-part test consistently and honestly, regardless of what a person looks like, where they're from, who they love, or how much money they have. Racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, and homophobia are the antithesis of integrity. They're like dry rot, which will eat away and destroy our house of justice. We ask what someone did, never who they know. We favor no individual, group, organization, or company over another. We favor equal justice for everyone, all the time and everywhere. We build our house of justice on the rock-solid foundation of integrity in the careful exercise of our constitutional duties. Now, a house must have a frame and support beams that are strong to hold up the walls and roof, yet flexible with a little give to withstand earthquakes or high winds. The frame and support beams of our House of Justice are reasonable, balanced, and pragmatic reforms and policies. As we have seen over and over, public safety and fairness do not stand alone, but must be bound together. Without both, we get neither. We support restorative justice, mental health services, drug treatment, and alternatives to incarceration for first-time offenders, low-level offenses, the mentally ill, and those addicted to drugs. We protect our community from serious, violent, and repeat offenders by holding those criminals fully accountable, sending them to prison, and providing support and services to help crime victims heal and recover from their trauma and their pain. While in prison, those convicted of dangerous crimes should have an opportunity to reflect on their harmful actions, change their negative ways, and rehabilitate themselves to become productive and law-abiding individuals when they're released. We want those who today violated our laws and tried to destroy our house to help build and strengthen our House of Justice tomorrow. That's what we seek. So the frame and the support beams of our House of Justice are criminal justice reform and public safety, not one or the other, but both together. A house takes shape when the roof, which protects and shelters, is added to the frame, which is grounded into the foundation. Our justice roof is built by dedicated, intelligent, and empathetic police officers and DA investigators who fairly enforce the law and keep the peace, who put their lives in danger so that we remain dry, safe, and secure in our homes. Thank you, Chiefs. Our justice roof contains DA task forces that shield our community from fentanyl, human trafficking, cybercrime, high-tech fraud, and gun violence. Our justice roof is made from DA victim advocates, including support dogs, Percy and Darcy. Now, I think I don't remember if they're here. I think they've had a full day of helping people and they're at home resting. Well, one is here, but I understand he's sleeping, which is what he does when I speak. And our victim advocates, human and canine, help our crime victims heal and recover physically, financially, and emotionally. Our justice roof includes the Children's Advocacy Center built 2 years ago. We saw a little snippet of it in the video at the beginning of tonight's program. The CAC stands as a haven for child abuse victims to be examined, interviewed, protected, healed, and cared for. Our justice roof stands sturdily over domestic violence victims in our family justice centers, over those traumatized by recent mass shootings, one of which occurred not far from my office window in our Gilroy and VTA resiliency centers. Our justice roof has DA community prosecutors, youth task forces, and parenting programs that reduce crime by keeping kids in school, out of gangs, and off drugs. Under our justice roof, we test all rape kits, and we test them faster than any other crime lab, and we have no backlog because we vigorously protect our community from rape and sexual assault. And I want to specifically thank Supervisors Cindy Chavez, Joe Simidian, the Board of Supervisors, and our county executive for providing the resources to get this important job done. Thank you. As your district attorney, this DA's office will always take a strong and unwavering stand against hate speech and hate violence, which denigrates, diminishes, separates, and divides us, because our justice roof protects everyone. Our justice roof protects everyone, and I mean everyone, in this wonderful and diverse community. A house needs windows to let in sunlight, and our House of Justice needs transparency to deepen and broaden trust with the community we serve. As former District Attorney George Kennedy said, quote, "We work for the people and should assume the entire community will scrutinize our actions." In other words, how would this look on the front page of the newspaper? Transparency means that the public should see what we are doing and know why we're doing it. The DA's office regularly publishes statistics about crime in our community, including the demographics of both victims and offenders. We conduct rigorous oversight of police use of force and make our findings public. We have an open file discovery policy which provides all the evidence to defense attorneys quickly. And our DA Crime Laboratory has the highest international accreditation and is transparent in its methods and results. Now, a window allows one to look in and allows one to look out. And when we look out from the window of our House of Justice, we should see a neighborhood of justice. A house is part of a neighborhood, and a respectful, watchful, and cooperative neighborhood makes all of its houses safer. Our House of Justice must be within a neighborhood of justice, like courthouses with more judges and fully staffed courtrooms, to end the enormous backlog of criminal cases, which further harms our victims, delays accountability for defendants, and reduces safety for everyone. Our neighborhood of justice needs defense attorneys who strongly represent their clients. Passionate, intelligent, and honest defense attorneys are our neighbors. They are worthy adversaries, not enemies. Our House of Justice is strengthened by vigorous advocacy from prosecutors and defense attorneys. When we debate about truth and fairness, not ego and pettiness, a fuller and richer justice emerges, which inspires and elevates all of us. Now, to build a house, we need builders. Each year, I swear in a new class of prosecutors to help build our House of Justice. Let's watch a short video, maybe. They'll tell us. Let's watch a short video titled "Why I Became a Prosecutor" before I invite our new prosecutors up to the stage to swear an oath to the Constitution.
Hi, my name is Wen Tran, and I'm a Deputy District Attorney. I'm in the Sexual Assault Unit. There's a lot of voicelessness in it when you are a victim or even a witness to a certain crime in a particular neighborhood. I feel like being a prosecutor, I can be that voice not just for like my community and the victims, but the people who witness it and that want to come forward. They want to say something, but they're scared. That's the best part of being a prosecutor.
Hi, my name is Tyron Wilson. I'm a Deputy District Attorney here in Santa Clara County. I was born to a mother addicted to crack cocaine and a father who was addicted to heroin. Throughout 12 years, I went through 20 different foster homes. I was abused physically, sexually, neglected, place to stay but no home. I'm a prosecutor because I want to advocate for others. I want to advocate because my whole life I was hoping someone would advocate for me.
I'm Daniel Borca, and I'm a prosecutor here in Santa Clara County. I'm a prosecutor because this is home. I was born in San Jose, and being able to protect and advocate for people that grew up in the area that I grew up in. I have personal friends that have gone through the criminal justice systems, that have committed crimes. I know for a fact that they're good people that made a wrong decision. But having that as a lens, it gets to defeat that binary that I think so many people assume exists for a prosecutor, that it's black or white. If I look at every defendant from a starting point of they're a member of this community who possibly just made a bad choice, and I can evaluate, right? When I need to achieve justice for a victim, achieve safety for the community. That's the best part of a job, is even though you have to make difficult decisions every day, as long as you feel like they're the right decisions at the end of the day, there's really nothing more rewarding than that.
Hi, I'm Summerlee Davis, and I'm a Deputy District Attorney with the Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office. This job, to me, isn't just professional, it's also personal. I was a victim of a crime, and I feel like that helps me see things from a more personal perspective. What drives me in this job is being able to help people and being able to be a light in a dark place.
My name's Quinn Nichols. I'm a Deputy District Attorney for the County of Santa Clara. Being a prosecutor gives me an opportunity to help people, often when they're at their most vulnerable. When I graduated from college, I joined the Marine Corps, an artillery officer in the Marines, and part of my 5 years in the Marine Corps, I deployed to Iraq twice. And of course, I met average Iraqi citizens, many of whom all they really wanted was a better life. I think there's a lot of parallels. Obviously, I do this work because I find it rewarding. But at the end of the day, I can't put it any more simply than I like helping people.
Help us build our house of justice. Jency Breska. Ryan Brogan. Nicholas Chase. Vincent Doctor. John Imoberstag. Elias Hernandez.
They look like babies.
Henry Kim. Christopher Knight. Alina Lakeman. Jonathan Lee. Jeffrey Mason. Jeanette Martinez. Ryan Morris. Ashley Parsons. Dylan Thomas. Hannah Villapando. Jonathan Yu. Farah Zaria. Jason Bussey. Christopher Judge. In a speech to prosecutors in 1940, then Attorney General Robert Jackson said, "The citizen's safety lies in the prosecutor who tempers zeal with human kindness, who seeks truth and not victims, who serves the law and not factional purposes, and who approaches their task with humility." Frank Lloyd Wright would often hide a splash of bright red in all his buildings. It was his architectural signature. What will be yours? What will be your justice signature? What will you leave for the next generation of our house of justice in our community and for our children? Let's build together. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations. We're going to take one quick picture. I'm so happy to welcome all of you. I will take one quick photo. I don't know, is like the mascot, but okay, anyway, as best we can. Okay. Super, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. It's funny, I'm teaching rebuttal tomorrow to the new prosecutor, so I'm not just going to get the last word tonight, but tomorrow as well. So. Will we complete our House of Justice in the next 4 years, 10 years, 100 years? We all know about lengthy and delayed home construction projects. I thought our kitchen repair would never end and we would be eating takeout forever. While I don't know when we will finish building our House of Justice, I do know where we're building it. We're building our House of Justice not on the top of a hill looking down, but in a valley looking up. A place once called the Valley of Heart's Delight for its agricultural bounty. A valley and a place now called the Silicon Valley for its technological prowess. Why are we building our House of Justice down below in a valley, but gazing up? We look up and aim toward perfection, knowing that a House of Justice built by human hands will never be perfect. Yet, if we try to create heaven on earth and diligently work side by side with each other, I know that our house will be a place where justice lives, works, and shines light to every corner of our community. Thank you.
To my very dear friend, I hope you'll interpret the full room and the full energy as the community's sense of ownership of your success.
Thank you.
We are invested in your success, and we thank you for your public service. And we also thank you for honoring the office of District Attorney for the County of Santa Clara. Thank you. Friends, that's enough speechifying. Please join us in the breezeway for refreshments and dinner. That concludes tonight's gathering. Thank you very much for honoring us with your presence.